Hello everyone, Chris here. Welcome to the channel. So, you're thinking about entering an endurance event, but you don't know where to start. So, all I'm going to do here is give you some very basic tips to think about, really, or how to go around it. So, the first place I would suggest is joining a few communities. Get yourself involved in some league racing if you're of a standard where you can enter them. If you're not at that stage yet, then I'd recommend maybe getting to single player and just start getting your consistency up, start understanding what car you like. But we're going to presume you're beyond that. So get yourself involved in some league racing, get yourself involved in a few communities. Start turning up every week, start being consistent, not just in the races, but being around, being part of it. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. There are plenty of communities out there that do endurance racing, and they come more aware with more communities you're in. This one I'm showing here now, the highlights of, was actually an ACCSS 10 hour Watkins Glen we just done. So once you get to the point now you're looking at entering an endurance race, what do you do? What do you need to think about? First and foremost, what's the track? How long is it? Then I would then look at how many races do you need, how many drivers do you need for that particular endurance event. Now this was a 10 hour, and I personally believed that 3 drivers was enough. So I got entered, I got a team entered, we've got another 2 drivers on board, and not just any 2 drivers, but then I was thinking about pace. We got 3 drivers who were of a similar pace, so our stints per driver didn't really drop off. We kept a consistent time during each driver, during each stint. I'd then have to look at cars. Now, everyone drives different cars. It's very rarely you come across a team where everyone drives the same car. So what I would then recommend is go into the track, either in an open server, or if you can got access to servers, go into a track and try different cars out with your teammates. See what works. We flipped through a few cars for this one, and ultimately we this time landed on the Mercedes AMG. It's actually quite a late change this time around. We was looking at the Lambo, but after the update it didn't really work for us. We was also restricted on what cars we could pick on this particular race because there was only 5 cars available of so many different cars. They weren't all available and they weren't unlimited. So we had to mess around, we had to look, and it turned out that we all pretty much could drive the AMG to a half decent pace compared to our normal pace. We then put on a setup, and we again just have a play with that. Remember, when it comes to setting up the car, there's a very good chance in endurance racing that it's going to rain. So we're not looking for outright pace, we're looking for a setup that if it comes down quite heavily, that you can still drive the car. It needs to have that right balance. It also needs to have the right balance between teammates. You can't just set that car up to suit one person. You may find in the setup that you may be a little bit slower, but your whole team as an average are give or take where they need to be. It's alright you being quicker, but if someone else is miles off the pace, it's pointless. So we now know the track, we now know your team, we now know the car. We're talking about setups. The other thing to take into account then is tyres. Most of these endurance races will be 65-minute stints, so you have to pit within 65 minutes. Not so much change driver, but you got to pit. So just the car holds 65 minutes worth of fuel, give or take. I think in AMG we dragged out about 62 or 63 minutes, so it was there or thereabouts on a full tank. Preserve your tyres. It's alright going all out in the first 20 minutes, but if you absolutely destroy them tyres, that's no good to anybody, because you can't come in and pit really and change tyres because you can lose too much time. You need to stick to them tyres and stick with them for the entirety of your stint. We messed around a little bit again on the setup, and we actually landed on traction control 7 on the AMG, and it worked really well. We were pulling out basically the same time around the lap, but we was actually preserving the tyres a little bit better because we weren't being as aggressive on exit corners. You then go beyond that then, you're now entering the race. What do I need to think about? Okay, so we've got the car, we've got the setup, we've got the team. We understand we need to look after these tyres. Consistency. Consistency in terms of not crashing, keeping your mistakes to a minimum. You're always going to get issues in an endurance event. You're going to get the odd driver who doesn't, your team doesn't. The team who mostly wins might not have had any. The car you can see on board now, funny enough, was Jardia in the Ferrari. He missed the start, funny enough, and started from the back. Still won, but he started from the back. Even he had an issue. Our particular issues, drive-through, took goal 30 seconds. I had to field a few issues with a key binding which was causing it. I had to pull over and sort that. But we didn't crash during the race. And this is what we're talking about, consistency, trying to keep them errors to a minimum. And I think if you sort of apply all that advice when looking at and thinking about and entering and racing an endurance event, you'll be alright. You'll be alright. I'd also say on top of that, enjoy it. Don't worry too much about where you finish. Endurance events are about having fun. It is what it says, it's an endurance. Try and have a rough idea of your driver schedule. Now, what we personally do, we'll just jot it down hour by hour. So we'll have a schedule of about times. Now this can adjust, you might have a crash, the rain may come, you may have to be early. But all we're doing here is sort of saying, right then, on hour 1 to 2, said driver, 2 to 3, said driver, 3 to 4, said driver. Just so you know, you got enough time to get up, stretch your legs, get away. You know, you can't be sat in your rig all the time. During 24-hour drives, I prefer double stinting, especially through the night. If you can get people double stinting through the night, then people are actually going to get sleep because it means they've only got to do 1 2-hour stint. Because if you've got a team of 4, that's your 8 hours. So you can still sort of get 6 hours in and around that. Okay, we chose 3 drivers for the 10 hours, that worked well. Yeah, beyond that, not too much else to sort of to go on really. I hope that helps. I hope that gives you something to think about. If you get a chance to enter an endurance event, do so. It's a massive experience. I think something you really enjoy. And yeah, if I've forgotten anything, just stick it down in the comments. Thank you very much.